Now we have this gallery of contacts and a form ready, and we want to connect both. We want to click in one of the contacts, navigate to the form screen, and save the change. Let's start doing that right now. First of all, I want to free some space here at the bottom, so I'm going to decrease the height of the gallery by just clicking at the bottom and dragging. And let's insert a button here to lead us to the edit screen. So I'm going to go to Insert, Button. Okay, let's move the button to the bottom. Later in the next classes, we are going to change this to put some icon or a button with an icon. But let's make it simple right now to understand the process. Okay, in this button, I'm going to change the text to Edit, as well as change the button name to BTM Edit Contacts. Right. When we click on the button, we want to navigate to the Edit Contact screen and call the EditForm function. That's the function that will make the form understand that we are editing a record instead of creating a new one. So in this Edit button, we are going to call the function EditForm and pass the name of the form as the argument. In this case is FRM contacts. Close the parentheses, and now we are going to add the second function, that's the navigate, that will go to the next page. So I'll put a semicolon and then call the navigate function, passing the edit contact screen as an argument, and in the second parameter I'll put a transition, that's the fade transition. Okay, now I just close the parentheses, and if I hit play, I'm going to click here, it's going to call the edit form and navigate. Right, once I click on edit, we navigated and we see no item to display. Well, there's some problem happening here, and that's usually done when someone is starting to use Power Apps and don't know all the properties of the forms. The form is in edit mode, but it doesn't know what's the record we want to edit, what item we are editing. It doesn't mean that because we clicked here in any of those items, the form already knows that we want to edit this item. We need to inform. So if I go to the form and click on it, we have this property called item, and it's empty here. We need to pass the information to the form saying which item we are going to edit, and this item is the item that's selected in the gallery. I could pass the gallery dot selected. That would already give the form the item that we are editing. We could see right now, let's see, the name of the gallery is Go Contacts in my case. So Go Contacts dot selected, and that will already represent the item that's clicked in the other page. If I hit play, we can see now that we have the information of Bruce Banner. If I cancel and click in another one, let's say Natasha Romanov, and click on Edit, I'm going to see Natasha's information. If I click on Save, that will already work. But that's not appropriate because the form is depending on the gallery that's in another screen. And if you read the documentation from Microsoft, it says it's not a good idea to have controls that depend on another controls. Imagine the dataset's refreshed somewhere in the app, then that item in the gallery that's selected may change. And it's a good idea to use variables to do this. So instead of linking directly to the selected item of the gallery, we can create a variable that represents the item that it was selected at that exact moment when the user clicked. Let's remove this by now and go back to the previous screen to create this variable. So I'm going to click on cancel, and here in the gallery we have also the onSelect property of the gallery. This code will be triggered anytime the user clicks in any of the items, and here we can use the functions to set a variable. In this case, the function we are going to use is set, that will create a global variable as I explained in the last class. The global variable can be accessed in other screens. So if we create a local variable using update context, it won't work. Let's call the function set and then give the name of the variable. Since it's a global variable, usually I start with GBL, indicating that's a global variable. So always that I see this variable with these initials, I know that it was set somewhere in the app and not in the same screen. Or maybe it was in the same screen, but I know that's used anywhere in the app. So GBL selected contacts. Always use meaningful names, so when we read, we already know what it means. Let's not save keyboard. Let's use and type the meaningful names. Now I will put a comma and then I will put this item. It means that when I click, the whole item, the whole row will be assigned to this variable, and we can access all the properties of the selected row. Now if I click, for example, on Peter Parker, it will call this function and set the variable to be Peter Parker. If I highlight the variable, I can see its value right here below the formula space. So we have the comment, department, and so on. I can access all these properties. In this case, this variable is a record that has all this information, and we see the name is Peter Parker. It means it saved Peter Parker to a variable. Creating and editing a video like this gives me a lot of work. And I just ask you to subscribe, like, and leave your comments to support the next videos. Let's go back to the lesson. Now, if I go to edit, let's remember the name of this, so I'm going to copy. I'm going to edit, and then in the form, in the item property, I'm going to paste the name of the variable. Now the form knows exactly what's the records I'm editing, and it's showing here in the form Peter Parker. Let's go back and change other record. For example, this John that doesn't have any last name. So let's click on edit and give it a name, give him a last name, John Johnson. Okay, if I click on save, it will save this information, replacing the name of John to John Johnson. Once it's saved, the form has the back function in the onSuccess, and we can see now in the gallery that John is called John Johnson, so we could edit a record. Now that we have it working, we can worry about the visuals. So in the next class, we are going to edit this button to have an icon on it and also the text. We are going to learn how to create a reusable component that we can use every time we want to use a button with icons in the app, and we can easily change the icon and the text. See you in the next video.